Hello everyone, welcome, and I hope you are doing well. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about the Cognizant technical assessment question on the topic of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is going to be the part one of this particular video, and in here we are going to discuss about different web dev components and how to solve particular question based on them. So this cluster of HTML, CSS, JavaScript is given to our technical assessment question in Cognizant if we go for the cluster one, which have this option of web dev in it. So without further ado, let's move to our agenda part. What is agenda? This is the course expectation which we are going to have. Like after this session, we will be able to achieve these three states. The first one will be understanding the question effectively. So if you have sat for this kind of exam previously, you know, like the technical questions, the coding rounds are typically the question lengths are a bit longer. So we will effectively learn how to effectively read these questions and just to understand the requirement for each and every problem. In the second point, we will learn how to solve those requirements and just deliver without wasting any time in unnecessary features or styling for the particular web dev part. And the third and the most important point will be while studying about this particular sample questions, we will also learn about each and every JavaScript component as well as HTML and CSS components and its role in detail. Why so? Because right now we are preparing for the technical assessment part for I think the coding part, if if to have very precise. So suppose in the later on in the technical interview or in some other exams of MCQ pattern or in technical interview, you are asked about a particular component, you can answer that too by this prerequisite knowledge. So without any further ado, let's move to our very first question. So this is actually the pattern by which we are given the question. We also have sections like sample input, and in case of coding, we have sample inputs, and we also have a section as expected outputs. So the first question states as image showcase, and we have to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript. By this, we can identify it's a web dev part question. So let's understand how to read this particular question and have when we can highlight our particular requirement. So we are given a task to create an image showcasing application, okay, where user can view and interact collection of thumbnail images. So it's basically a gallery kind of thing as per they are asking, and we have to apply the following functionalities. Now we are coming to the objective. This is the main part. Here we have the requirements for the particular question. And here we are mentioned, create a division name image display. We have to name this division class as image display. This is the first requirement we have right now. And where the selected image will be displayed in a larger view. So we can understand we have a gallery section and we have a section which will display the image in a larger view. Okay, this is how we are going to apply this brute force approach to understand the question and ensure all the images with the class thumbnail. Like we have to name the each images as thumbnail, and they have a width of 11 pixel and height of 70 pixel. Okay, and we have to implement that JavaScript function that will allow user to click the thumbnail image to display the image in a larger view within the division as selected image. So what the question states, let's understand. Let's move to this whiteboard. So they're asking for a website. Like suppose this white page is our whole website. And in here, we have a block like this. Okay. And here we have a division which has all our images. Like a gallery format, we have image number 1, image number 2, image number 3, and image number 4. Okay, so we are given parameter, we can see here, like the thumbnail image should have width of 1100 pixel and height of 70 pixel. So we have to maintain a particular parameter in here of width 100 and height 70. But if we notice closely, we don't have any particular size given for our enlarged view, which is this one. Now let me explain what I mean by enlarged view. So in here we have our images, right? And this is a blank space. Now, when a user comes to this website, they will able to see this all 4 images. And whenever they click on one of the image, what will happen? This image will move to this particular division and it will be displayed in a larger view. And when the user clicks on the number 2, it will display number 2. And when they go for number 3, it will show number 3. And same for 4. So we have to make this iteration possible. So now let again draw this table. We had this particular interface and we have this section. So here are the image file. We have particular constraints for it, and we don't have any particular constraint for this enlarged view. We can keep it at any size. Suppose 200 by in height and 200 in width. It's as per our choice. The requirement only goes for this. So let's without wasting time, let's go with the code part. So here is the sample code. We have at the first line doc type HTML. By this, we are letting know the compiler that we are going to use HTML language. Then we are starting our HTML and the header section, which is a very basic HTML format. Then we have the styling. Let's skip this part for now. Let's move directly to the body. In body, we can see we have added image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. So let's understand this particular structure. What is happening in here? We have source and image. This image is installed in my particular system, or we can just copy a online image URL and paste it here. This is basically the source to access this particular image, which is stored in some database or in cloud or somewhere. We are naming this class as thumbnail. Remember, we have this constraint that we have to name, click on image thumbnails. So here, ensure all images with the class thumbnail have a width of 170. So basically thumbnail referred to this particular 4 image section. So we have named their class as thumbnail, right? Now we have a JavaScript component which is known as onClick. What is onClick? Right now I'm the screen. This is my cursor, as you can see. If I just press one time in my mouse, you can see there is a small dot. So this is what we call as onClick on mouse. So whenever someone comes and clicks on this image, it will register this click with the help of this component, and it will activate this JavaScript component known as show image in bracket this. Now, what is this? This refers to the source of the image file, which is the JPG link, this one. So what happens? Let's take this one for example. Here we have multiple images, right? So when we are clicking on the first, this will have the address as 1. When we are clicking on the second, this will have the address as 2. When we are going for the third and fourth, it will go so on. Okay. So this was the pretty much part for how we are sending the image and how the user is interacting with it. Now moving to the div class, here we have a class where we are creating another division. This is for the larger view, right? This is where the image will be shown in enlarged view. So we have ID'd it as larger view and have created a class named selected image, and we have given a source. Now here we have to understand one thing. A question might arise like why we have ID as well as a class. Both are used for identification, right? So why we have both? So whenever we are dealing with CSS, we actually, for best practice, we use class. So by class, we can put on styles and different features and fonts and everything with the help of this class function, with the help of CSS. And with the help of ID, we can pipeline this particular function to the JavaScript. So you may ask, what is pipeline? So whenever we are developing a website, we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Every page has its particular functionalities and for particular code. Now they need to communicate between each other to create the combined product, which is our website, right? So for that, they need some pipeline to identify which function we are calling, or which function we are asking for, or which function has a particular feature. So for that, JavaScript uses the function as ID. It refers to different options or class or features with the help of this ID, and CSS does so by using class. So let's uh, erase this all up. Yeah. So moving on, we are done for the HTML part at this point. Let's move to the CSS. So here we have style tags. What is that? Remember one thing, like there are different types of ways in which we can declare CSS to a particular page. This particular pattern where we are implementing it within the HTML page is known as inline CSS. And we can also use a reference to another page and all, which we will go into later on. But for now, we are using inline CSS to make the interface all in one, and it's very much simple. So let's go with the first constraint. They have told that we have a class name as thumbnail, which will have this width. So we have done so. We have written dot thumbnail. It is calling this class. So we are using that dot function. And we are mentioning the width should be 100 pixel and the height should be 70 pixel, right? And this part is actually optional, but it's good to give. Like whenever we will move our cursor, it will change into a pointer like this one. If you can see my cursor, like whenever we are hovering, the pointer is changing into a pointing finger icon. So that will happen via this. So we have make sure to satisfy this only given constraint. Now moving on to the next styling, we have given it to the division, which is going to enlarge the image, which is named as selected image, right? So in the selected image, we have initialized the width as 400 and the peak height as 280. Now remember, we don't have any constraint for the enlarged image, so we can go with any width and height. And so we have gone for a larger one. So it is shown in an enlarged view. So now we are done with both HTML and CSS. Now let's move with the main part, which is the interaction. When the user comes and click on this particular image, it will send here. And when they click on the second, it will also be sent here, and it will override the previous image and it will take its place. So for applying this interaction between the JavaScript, HTML, CSS, we are going to use the JavaScript or the script tag. This is also inline as we are using it within the HTML page. So we use script open, script close, and between everything is JavaScript. Anything we are writing is JavaScript. Now let's understand this thing. We are declaring a function known as show image. We have previously seen we have show image, and we are declaring an element known as EL. You can name it anything. It could be A, B, anything. It's just a parameter which is catching this function as its parameters. So whenever we are clicking on a particular image, this show image is triggered. This function will fetch the address of the image source, and it will send it to this particular JavaScript function. Once this JavaScript function is activated, now we will perform our task. What is so? what is that? Which is document dot get element by ID large view. Now let's decode what is this. If what is this particular word as document? So many of you have already heard about this, and those who haven't, let me explain. We are referring to DOM. DOM is the documented version of this whole website. Suppose first we have a HTML tag, then we have a head, then we have a body, and then that's pretty much it. Head, HTML head, body, and between that we have a paragraph. So when we are accessing the DOM, it will first divide the folder as HTML, then it will have a body, a head, then it will have a body, and inside that there is a paragraph. This is what we call as a documented version of the website. Whenever we are fetching data or whenever we are iterating through websites, it is always done with the help of a DOM, which is documented version of the website. Each and every component, this image tag, this will come under body. Like this is all about a DOM. Everything is a category under this. So when the compiler or the iteration is happening, the JavaScript is fetching data and all, it will go by this particular tree-like structure, which is we call DOM. So as I said, this is the documented version. So everything is treated here as a document. So whenever calling an element, we are using document first. So document dot get element by ID. Remember, I told JavaScript communicates by ID. So it is referring to this particular ID as larger view. This is fetching the data from here. And we are then accessing dot src. So now when we know the meaning of document, get element by ID, and this function, let's decode this. This is pretty English. This is simple English. Uh, if you understand what each and every component means. So what the code is saying, go access this particular website's document, find the element with the ID as larger view. We have found the element as, let's erase this, yeah. Find the element with the larger view ID, we have found it. Then go to its source file, which is here, we have as default value image jpg1, and do one thing, assign the el.src. What is el? I told it's the parameter which has the this function's value, right? So we are using assignment operator, which is a equal to sign. So what is happening? So now let me decode. If I'm clicking on this image number 2, that this function will have address as image number 2, right? And it will be passed to this function element. Now, what will happen? It will access this particular ID and it will assign the new source as 2. So this will show as 2, the image source. And this part is displayed in the front end as like this. Let me draw again the website. We have this particular image. Suppose there are 3 images. Whenever I am clicking on this first one, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. When I'm clicking on this first one, the first one's address is going in this function. It will be pushed to the JavaScript one, and JavaScript will fetch the data and assign it to the source. The source will load here, and we can see image 1 here. When we are clicking on number 2, same happen that this will have the second address. It will be pushed to this function, and it will assign the new source here, and with the help of HTML and CSS here, we will have 2 instead of 1. When 3, it will go so on as per requirement. So this is a very simple approach to solve this particular problem. I hope we are clear with all the JavaScript components and the concepts in here. So now let's move on to the next question, which is asking us for a responsive navigation bar. And here is also mentioned what we need, what tech we need to use. So let's go. Uh, you're tasked with creating a responsive navigation bar. I hope you know what is a navigation bar. Still, let me explain. Uh, Whenever we are logging in some website or web pages, we can see there is a top bar like this one, and it has all the options and everything. If you can see my cursor, we are particularly now in this software, and there are different kind of interaction buttons we have in this section. So that is a nav bar, and now we have to create this, and we have to understand the requirement, which is the objective part. So they have given us three constraints. One, create the navigation bar with a logo on the left. So this is the left side. So we will have a logo in there, a set of navigation link in the center, set of navigation links in here, and a search box in the right. Okay, so this is going to be the nav bar structure. We have to use a flex box to arrange the item in a larger scale and stack them vertically. Okay, when on smaller scale. So what they're telling us is this is the desktop view of the particular website, like when we are accessing the website through our computers or laptops. So when we are accessing it via mobile, the nav bar will be or reorganized in a vertical manner. So logo, the nav bar option, and then the search bar vertically. And for the top down view, we are initializing it in normal view, so horizontally. Then to the third constraint, which is implement JavaScript function to toggle the visibility of the navigation link when the screen size is reduced in mobile view. So they are asking that toggle the visibility. What that's supposed to mean? Like they're basically referring to this particular part. What they're saying, they if we could once look this question very closely, they haven't given us what are the set of navigation link they need. We can give any two, three, four. It's totally our choice. For example, let's take we have three navigation points. Suppose home, about, contact us. These are the buttons here. So what they're saying, when we are having a size reduced in a mobile view, for example, what will happen? We have to hide this and make a toggle section. So what we can do is for the particular mobile view, let's draw this. This is the mobile view. We have the logo, and vertically we have the search bar. Now they have asked that for the navigation links only, we have to toggle. So for that, we can do one thing is hamburger menu, which is a three dot kind of thing like this. If you can follow my cursor right here, I'm drawing an arrow, you can see. Here we have a hamburger menu. This option helps us to toggle, right? I can toggle doing in this software. So we have to make this particular menu here. So whenever we come and click on this, this will open the menu and we will have the nav link inside. Else, when we are again clicking on this, it will close it, right? So this is a basic requirement of the question. So let's get to the code of this particular problem. So in this particular problem, I have added a particular tag known as meta. Let's go one by one. Let's first start with this. We have pretty normal HTML syntax we discussed in the last problem. Then we have meta tag. What is meta tag? This part is particularly optional, but I have added this to prepare for the technical interviews. Always remember, meta tag defines the website capability of discovering, like this basically deals with how the website is performing in search engines or give information about particular data. The websites data and components and all. So meta tag is for that. Now moving, for now we are going to ignore the style part and just go with the first basic structure or the skeleton of the website, which is the nav bar. So we have first declared a division as div. We have closed it here, as you can see. We have put, no, sorry, that's my bad. The nav bar is starting here and we are ending it here. So this is the whole nav bar field. Now let's change the color. Now we have started the logo section. Logo is starting here and ending here only, and we have just passed the uh, text as logo. This is going to be our logo. Then we have the second division, which is on-click function, which I will explain later when I'm going with the CSS part. And let's explain this. This is a Unicode or a particular code which the compiler understands, which will give us the particular icon as this, the toggle menu, the particular this icon. If you can see my cursor, this icon will be generated by this code. How to find this? You can just go to your Google Chrome and you can just search for Unicodes for hamburger menu, or I think it's called some triad. You can just, if you write hamburger menu icon Unicode, you will find this one in Google. So that's what we have done here. So we have also initialized the on click function. Okay, and we have named this as menu. Let's clear it up a bit. Yeah, now we have the third constraint, which is the nav links, navigation links. So we are naming it as nav links. We have also initialized a ID here, and we have anchor tags. What is anchor tags? Whenever we are dealing with link or hyperlink in our website, we always use anchor. So right now, this is a dummy website. So we have home page, about page, contact page. What we will do, we will just paste the URL of that particular page in this section between the quotes. And whenever the user clicks on this website, it will divert to that particular page. That's what is happening in here. So we have closed this anchor tag, which is up till here. And then we have initialized the search. Here we have the search class, and we have initialized a input statement, which is taking it as input. We have text because it's going to be normal search bar, and we are writing a placeholder as search. So now what happens is, if we click on compile and run this particular code, what we will get is this particular website interface where the navbar is created, but we have it organized in vertical order. Like first we have logo, then we have nav links, right? Then we have the search component. It's all organized in a vertical order, no styling, nothing at all, because we still haven't worked with the CSS part, right? So now let's move to the styling part. So first we have assigned nav bar, which is the first section, the whole nav bar. Let's just clear this part and create a new. Let's use a shape. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the interface. Yeah. So now we have initialized a nav bar and we have initialized the display as flex. What will flex do is, I'm just drawing a line for reference. It's not really accurate. No line is drawn particularly, just for reference I'm showing. Previously, as I said, all the things were assigned vertically, no order, nothing, right? This is the logo, this is the nav links, and this is the search bar. They were organized vertically. With the help of Flex, this will organize in a order, in a horizontal format, right? Then we are going to align it in the center. We are just providing some styling, aligning, padding and all. And we are giving this a background color to segregate it from the background. So now the navbar has a particular color. This is totally optional, but we can add. The compiler will not throw any errors. We can just add. And we are assigning the logo and search as flex equals to 1. What this supposed to mean? This side we have the logo, right? So let's add a deviation, and this side we have the search bar. And for both, we can see we have assigned the flex as 1 and 1. So even if this website is shrinked to a mobile view, suppose let's have this for a mobile view, whenever we are in this view or any sub-sized view, we, this flex one ensures that the search and the logo has the same ratio of expanding and functioning. Like they have the same allocated space, right? And in the second part, we have also assigned nav, particular flex one, and we have used display flex. We have, as we have many nav links here, we have organized all of them here horizontally. And yeah, this part is done. And in the menu, we have written display none and cursor pointer. Now we need to understand this particular part. Why display equals to none? In the menu section, if we go here, what we can see is, let's clear it up a bit. Uh, yes, this particular class is named as a menu, right? Now, menu has a on-click function and a icon. So initially, when we are in a desktop view, we don't need this particular menu section. This will only trigger when we are calling the hamburger menu, the small one for the mobile view, right? So initially we are not displaying it. So display is none. But when it is displayed, uh, so so that whenever it is being displayed, it will be used as a pointer. Like whenever we are going, it will change into this particular hand pointing icon. So this part is done. Now, till now we have been working on the mobile desktop views CSS part. Now moving on to this particular media tag and a max fit. So what happens here? Let me explain. You can do one thing like press F1 in your keyboard, F12, sorry. You will come to this interface, which is the dev tools. And if you go to this particular icon, you will have this field, right? What this does, and always select this as responsive. What this does is we can check the website's responsive tendencies, like how if the size decreases or increases depending on screen size, how the website will perform. So as we are collapsing it, we can see here the size is decreasing, right? It's getting 2 digits. And where we are expanding this, it is expanding, right? The value is getting larger. So for a desktop view, the size is suppose 678, right? And for a mobile view, it will be obviously a bit smaller than the desktop view, the dimension, right? So for that, we have to add a constraint, like they have asked for a mobile view, but they didn't have mentioned any particular, one moment, they didn't have mentioned us any particular dimension, so we can take any. So we are taking as 786. This is the threshold value. So whenever we are shrinking this particular website and 786 is crossed, we are shifting to our mobile view. So this is what this tag is doing. So until it's 78 is until and unless it is crossing the 786 value, this particular menu, on click menu, will not be displayed and everything will be normal as we have. Whenever it is crossed, we are going to apply this new CSS, which is nav bar. We are again initializing nav bar and we are installing it in column views. Column means vertically, right? In this order, up to down. And align item flex start. This is a syntax to this vertically organize it. And then VR. displaying the menu which was previously displayed as none, but now we are displaying the whole block. So now the toggle menu will appear here, the menu, this part, right? Let's erase this particular thing for to clear up confusions. Yeah. So at first we have the logo, then we have the toggle menu, then we have the search bar. Now, then we are moving to nav links. We have displayed it as none because we don't want to display this now in this stacked format. Then we have given it also a vertical orientation, and we have just applied some optional styling, which is not necessary. And we have also initialized that we have to show the nav links in a flex. So this actually tells that whenever right now we haven't actually gone through the JavaScript part of this code, so it might be confusing, but let's understand, like, this is letting know that whenever the hamburger menu will be clicked by the user, we will display the nav links in a flex or in a vertical order. Suppose we have homes, contact us, about us page, it will be displayed like vertical order in this particular menu, right? So let's clear all this up. Now we have completed the whole HTML and CSS part. Let's remove this too. Okay. Now let's move to the JavaScript part. In here, as we had written previously, on click. So whenever we are clicking the toggle menu, this is the function name, right? So whenever we are clicking the toggle menu, which is this particular logo, as the criteria as toggle menu, right? This logo, which is three dot, I'm again drawing it. Whenever we are clicking on this particular entity, what will happen? This JavaScript function will trigger. And as we have previously discussed, what is document? Document dot get element by ID. So what is it? What this line is telling the compiler? It is go through the website's document tree and get element by the ID of links, which is what is links? This one, ID as links, and dot class list dot toggle dot show. So what it is telling it, like, whenever someone is clicking on this menu, which was previously not showing, like display is equals to none, we have to do we what we have to do is we have to make a class list like a normal list kind of thing, and we have to toggle the show function. So all the links from here which we have fetched in this particular function will be displayed in this vertical order. So this is a very simple approach to display the nav links in this particular hamburger menu. So for now, we haven't gone with too much styling at this point because it might create confusion. But this is a very simple approach and approach to create this particular website without too much styling and all. And as per requirement, if we are asked for too much styling here, like the styles, we can add CSS tag here. Like, just we have to call the particular function with dot class name, and we can just add the particular style. So we are done with question 2 also. Let's move to the last question for today, which is form validation description. This is a very simple code. We have to make a registration form with real-time validation feedback. So we have this particular structure which is used for demo. We have this will be actually given, like what are the constraints we are needing to make for this particular form. We will have a username, a email, a password, a confirm password, and a submit button. Now let's understand what this problem means by real-time validation. So we have this particular form, and we have a criteria known as username, a criteria as email, a criteria as password, and another as confirm password and a submit button, right? Now, these are just plain text. We have particular input section for this where we can fill. This is just the column where we will put the data in, right? This yellow section. Let's just do this. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. Now, what will happen? We have normal user name, so we will just put input tag and initialize it as text. Then we have an email tag. We will just initialize it as email input type, which is pretty normal. And in here we have password and confirm password. Both input type will be password. So the password, whatever we write, it will be shown in a starred format, star star star, what we see in our Gmail account while entering the password at any website. Yeah, so it will store in star. Now, once we are clicking on the submit button, what the JavaScript will do is it will check that if the password matches the confirm password. If it does, the form resets, the form refreshes, the data is sent to somewhere, as it's not necessary in the question. So it will be sent to the backend. If this password doesn't match the confirmed password, the form will generate this particular error message if password doesn't match. This is the constraint we have to make sure. So this is very simple code for creating the format. Let's get to it. We have used a title tag, which is just a title. And here we have added one more thing to learn, which is lang English. So this is to notify the compiler or the browser that we are using English for our particular program. So lang stands for language and en stands for English, right? Moving on to the main body part, we have h2 tags, which is representing heading. Okay, so one more thing we need to understand for interview or technical interview perspective, we have from H1 to H5 and so on tags. The H1 denotes the highest of size, and the more we go far from one, like 4, 5, 6, it will show a more smaller edition of this particular text, smaller font size to be more precise. Now, there is this one question which generally comes in technical interviews, is that H1 tag. So while coding, right, we have, while writing a web dev or a website or making a website, we have to make sure to use the H1 tag once, only once, or the most minimum amount of time we can, because the more we using H1 tag in one particular web page, suppose this is a web page and this has multiple H1 tags, this will hamper the website performance in terms of SEO. What is SEO? Like wherever we are going to Google Chrome and searching for a particular website, they are actually fetching this H1 tags metadata to track this website. And with multiple H1 tag, the search engine confuses your website as some spam website or something. So it will be low ranked in the race of SEO. So we have to make sure that we are using it only once in a particular web page, once in a web page. This is a very common interview question too, technical interview. So let's move with the code. Uh, Now we are just starting with the syntax of the form. We are starting with form, and we are naming it as ID register form. We have a label. What label is? It's just nothing. We are just writing the plain text in the form. This will do is username, and the input section we have type and ID as username, and we are initializing it as required. So what we'll do, the label tag will write the name as username, and the input field will create a box to fill the username. It has type as text, type as text, so we can write any text in here, and the ID is username here. So this is how we are creating a particular field in the form, and we are using it required, like we have to fill this form in order to continue. So here we will have a small red color star mark because this form is required by action. Then we are using br. What br does is, if we are not using br, the thing which might happen is the other field, the second field, which is the email, might coincide or might be very much close, they might be very much patched. So to avoid that, we are assigning few space. This is just your choice. I have given twice. You can give one, two, three, unlimited times. Just the amount of brs you put, the space will be more higher. Okay. Now moving to the second part, which is the label. We have initialized name as email. The type will be email. What type email does is, whatever we are feeling, suppose something we are doing ABCD 1 2 3, and we are assigning this at the rate gmail.com, yahoo.com, hotmail.com, whatever it is here. In if we have assigned the task as email, the compiler will look for this at the rate sign. If this is not present, the input will not be initialized. It will show that you haven't filled the correct data in this particular field. So your assigning is as email. Okay. Now moving again, we have used br tags, and moving to the password, we have assigned it as password tag, and we have initialized it as required. And same for the confirm password is both, because both of them are taking in the password, so it's pretty much same. And we have initialized a button which is type submit, and it will show like this button. A button will appear which will have the written word submit in it. Whatever we are writing between the codes will be displayed inside the button. Okay. So we are done with the form right here. We are just assigning a p tag, which is paragraph tag, which will show the error message, which, so we have ID'd it as error, and we have initialized the color as red for the text. Now in the script, we are starting with the script. So now we are declaring few variables as const. What const stands for? Const means constant. Once this variable is initialized, it cannot be changed. It cannot be modified in runtime. Suppose we have a equals to 1 and it is of type const, we can't later on go and change it as a equal to 2. This will generate as an error. Okay. So this is also a kind of interview question which might come in JavaScript section. Uh, Then moving on, we have taken a const variable as f, and we are again telling the document to search for element by the ID as register form. We are taking the register form as its ID. And moving on, uh, register form as ID, this one. And then we are moving to the const p, which is password, and we have cp, and so we are calling the confirm password. As it's in this particular problem, we are just dealing with the password and the confirm password, so we are just calling this particular two data, and we are also calling the form because it's inside the particular form, these two tags are there. And we are also calling the tag by the name of error here, right? So now moving on, we have form dot add event listener, and we have initialized it as submit. So what this is happening, like whenever the form having an event of submit, whenever someone is going around and clicking on the submit button, this function will get triggered. This will start, and it has a parameter as a. So what will happen? Instantly, the form will stop its execution and wait for this if and else statement to be executed. What this means, whenever we are writing, suppose this was a full stack website, we had a database in backend like this, right? And whenever we are clicking on the submit button, what will happen is this data will be sent to the database and the form will restart, and we have a blank form again. So we are just preventing that particular thing to happen. So we are using this function as prevent default, right? Then we are just stopping it for this particular section or this particular block to execute, which is the if and else statement. So in here, first we are going to do it if. Let's go. First we start with if the p dot value. What is p? The password. The password's value is not equals to confirm password. Then e dot text content, we are passing this text as error, password do not match, right? And we are using this error message because we have been particularly asked for a text format feedback from the website, not the alert system. So we are not going for alert. We will look at in some next other videos what is alert. For now, we are just using error, and it is just passing this particular text. This text is passed. Let's go up to this paragraph section. Text content means we are passing this text to this paragraph section with id as error, and it will be of red color. And else, if it is not, then we don't have any text content, and we are just putting an alert that the form is submitted successfully, and we reset the form. So what happens if the password matches? It will take the refresh the whole form and send us an alert that the form has been submitted. And if it doesn't match, it will show us an error that the form is the current password doesn't match the given password. Error, the password do not match. This message will be displayed here. So that's it. That's how that's how these problems could be solved. We have For now we have seen these three particular problems. In the upcoming parts, we are going to deal with more problems and more components. I hope you like this video. Keep on practicing, and if any doubt, just put it in the comment section. I will try my best to answer those. And thank you. Keep practicing.